Welcome to Escape This Podcast, a show that's a mix between tabletop role-playing and escape room puzzles. This is the fourth episode of our Oceananigans semi-connected arc, because it's not really narratively connected. We're connected in setting.
Yes, this is our fourth episode aboard the cruise ship.
Yeah, the cruise ship, the SS Spaghetti and Meatball.
As it has now become known.
We didn't name it that. It was a guest. Blame them. We would have come up with a great name for a ship, but we just didn't have that in our power. I'm so sorry. Every episode, we have guests come on and play through an audio escape room, and we have a first-time guest new to the show. You've probably seen them on Dropout or at a cool local improv event in LA. Welcome to the show, Vic Michaelis.
Man, is there a sadder way to get introduced than you probably know this person from some local improv shows? My father
But maybe they do.
My father is sighing
but
in his sleep right now. In LA. So
In LA.
LA, the city known for its live theater.
No, we're very, very excited to have you on the show. We spent some time before this recording started just sort of gushing about how much we enjoyed the stuff that you've done with Dropout, like very important people.
Thank you so much. Deeply appreciate it. The show is my baby, and it's learning how to walk and going off to school in a way that is making me uncomfortable.
And then you joining Vic, we have returning guest who will have to take charge because you've done so many of these now. Welcome to the show, Neil Patrick Harris.
What?
That's it. That's a full.
That's it. I had an audio cue of meow, 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 but I just went with what instead.
Perfect.
You say I've done a bunch of these. I think how many of these have I done? I've done 4?
At least, I would say. You were a magician. You were an Arctic explorer. You were a safari explorer. You were...
Right.
There's some other ones as well, I'm sure.
I do love these so much.
Every time we have guests on the show, we always have the same 2 questions. This is an escape room show, so why don't we start with Vic? Vic, what is your escape room experience?
So here's how I'm going to caveat this. I do a ton of escape rooms. I'm from Toronto. We got Real Escape Game in Toronto when they came out of Japan. I love escape rooms. Then I heard Neil has an escape room box, and so now I want to say intermediate.
Box 1 represent.
Yeah. So I would say a lot for most people, and I want to say intermediate considering my competition. I know we're not competing against each other, but I'm competing against you in my head.
You're a team. If anything, your experience is additive. It bolsters each other.
I hear you, and I know that in my heart, but in my head, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be keeping tally. I'm going to have a little corner of my page.
How many wins you get uniquely in this room.
Yeah. And if you don't get them, just read a line to yourself like you did get the answer, and we'll edit it in and cut out Neil getting it right.
I'll lie.
Yeah.
I'll add extra points for myself. I feel fine about that. Yeah. I'm going to win.
And then, Neil, are there any updates to your escape room experience since you were last on the show?
Well, I have to address the elephant in the room, which is Vic's competitive nature. I fully expect Vic to win. It is not at all a competitive design on my end. In point of fact, I love the creation, the structure of all of these escape endeavors, and I'm remarkably bad at doing them. I've had real overnight adventures. My husband has thrown 40th birthday parties, the 50th birthday parties that are puzzle heavy, and I just overthink it, and so it's really the creation of it that I enjoy most. Like, oh wow, that's fantastic. So I am very excited for you to win at every turn.
I see what you're doing. And I'm not going to fall for
really,
it.
truly.
Calling me into a false sense. No, I got it. Yeah, me too. I'm here to have fun. That's it. I see what you're doing. I got it.
Wow, Vic's competitive spirit is strong. My escape room experience has been medium. I've gotten to do some local New York escape rooms. I went with my friend Emily Gillette to Wales last year. And we did a thing called Locksmith's Dream, which is a 2-day escape thing in a castle in Wales.
Oh my God.
Wild.
We
You have to take a train out there and then a cab. It's like a whole, singular experience. And then when you're there, there's a lot of other people. You have a room. It's like a bed and breakfast, and it happens into the evening as well. And there's dinners, and you're dressed up, and it was terribly exciting. So that was my
That's
favorite
very
of
cool.
the recent escape room
Wow.
immersive kind of things. Loved it.
Incredible.
Wonderful. Then the other element of this show is it's escape rooms mixed with a sort of tabletop role-playing style. So going reverse order, Neil, any new tabletop role-playing in your life?
This last year, I was in LA and I recorded a podcast for a show called Hell or High Rollers.
Ooh.
It's like a role-playing game as a podcast done by the Mischief gang that does Play That Goes Wrong and Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
Ah,
Oh, gotcha.
I love that
They're
show.
super funny. They're so good. And it's a good listen if you're because their improv skills are so fun and they love D&D.
And then, Vic, what about you? Do you have any tabletop role-playing experience?
Yeah, I'm largely a fan. I strangely found myself in a world that collides with a lot of the best performance Dungeons and Dragons folks around and about with Dimension 20 and Critical Role. And I'm such fans of all of their work. I largely operate as a fan of those things. I will occasionally do a little bit of podcasty stuff, some charity stream stuff, but I just got done listening to Never Stop Blowing Up, which is like a Kids on Bikes based thing, and that feels a lot less scary to me than jumping into a performance style like D&D. There are rules, there are people online listening to it that also know the rules a lot better than I do, but something like Kids on Bikes, I'm that seems just fun, creating mechanics like that. But Brendan's just is truly so wonderful about stuff like that. So I am by and large a fan of role play.
All right. So with all that being said, I think, Danny, are we ready to jump
We're ready
into
to finish off this cruise.
ready to finish the cruise? All right.
Is this part 4 of 4?
This
It's
is
part 4 of 4. It was going...
Vic, this is so exciting.
Last thing, you two are going to be merged into one human for this.
Oh, gorgeous.
What should we call our name? Neelic.
Oh, no, I don't like this. One more try.
Veal? I'm not so crazy
Veal.
about that either.
You can, you either get gross with Neelic, you get a bit weird with Veal, or you get incredibly boring, just like Nick. Our name's Nick.
Oh yeah, Nick.
Nick. Yeah, I
just
didn't
a
think
human
about
name.
that. Nick, I guess.
I don't like it.
You gotta say
And
it
Nick
like
is
that.
gender non-specific, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, amorphous.
All right, we're Nick.
All right. Someone opens the door and you tumble out onto the floor gasping. Thank you. You stammer, looking up at the one who rescued you. It's a kid. A group of kids, actually. 3 of them all staring down at you in bewilderment. You suppose it's not every day they go exploring their cruise ship and find a door being blocked from the outside and open it only to have a crew member almost land on them. But that's been typical of your life lately as an officer's apprentice, or deck cadet as some call it. Basically, you're a person studying to be a captain. And if you thought going from cruise ship to cruise ship, being instructed by the best and most experienced in the industry was going to be a good time, oh boy, you couldn't have been more wrong. Every ship has been a nightmare of underappreciation, sometimes all the way to outright bullying. And this week, studying under Captain Brandon Sheets has followed the exact same pattern. Thank you, Patreon donor Brandon Sheets. So while some kids might be surprised that someone locked you in a cupboard as a super fun prank, you are not. Ugh, how late is it? It feels really late. You race down a corridor until you find a windowed area, and sure enough, outside it's black and the nearest deck is deserted. Technically, that probably means those kids are out after curfew and should be scolded, but you've got bigger things to worry about. You're meant to be on duty. And even though it was Captain Sheets' fault you're late, that won't stop him writing up a formal disciplinary notice and humiliating you as you explain yourself to your teachers on shore. The system is great. It's totally fair, guys. You have no choice but to race to the bridge and hope for mercy. But when you arrive at the bridge, Captain Sheets isn't there. Nobody is. And that makes you groan, because you know exactly what it means. The captain has gone to the bar and left you on overnight duty alone. He's not supposed to do that because you don't have the authority or skills to handle an emergency yet, but he does it anyway to make you sweat. And if you know the captain, you'll bet he's left you some unpleasant surprises around here as well.
Oy.
So let's take a look. Let's see if everything looks in order. This is where you can sort of draw a map for this one, but I've been quite unspecific about where things are because a lot of them don't matter. You have entered from the stern side, which right now is south. And right beside you is a door that leads up to the crew bar. At the opposite end of the room is the windowed front of the ship, and between you and it are all the various workstations. You do a mental checklist of all of the workstations. One of them is communications. There's GPS. Nautical charts. 3 separate steering stations. This is the only one that really matters for location. There's one up the front, one to the left, and one to the right. There is another station for lighting, and one more for door and window controls. And right away, you notice 3 things that look out of normal order. First is one of the nautical charts. It's been knocked askew, and it's got big handwritten letters covering it. Has Captain Sheets left you a message? And you're going to see that right away. You don't get any freedom of movement yet. You are thrown straight into your first puzzle.
For people playing at home, you can see this in the show notes. But Vic, would you like to describe what you're looking at for the people at home?
Okay, so I am sort of seeing like a Nike swoop that looks like the ink didn't dry all the way and it's bleeding a little bit out. And then there are 3 different compasses around there, sort of printed on the paper. Is it just beautiful stationery, or does it mean something? We shall soon find out.
As a nautical semi-expert, you understand everything that is written on this chart perfectly, and everything that is in that background looks perfectly in order.
Looks perfectly in order. Well, that was my thought, is that it's stationary and all of the numbers are perfect. Okay, and so then I'm looking at these letters in the top right. We have 3 sets of letters in different lines. The first line says NNESW. The second line says EENNWWSS. And then the third line says EESSWWNN. And I don't know if location is going to matter, but it is in the top right-hand corner.
This is all you've got, is for now, is that there is a mess here, and you're trying to figure out if these big scrawled letters are Captain Sheets giving you some kind of message.
Okay. Do you have a gut reaction to this?
I do have a gut reaction, and give me like 15 more seconds to see if it leads
course.
to anything fun. What do you notice when you're looking at the map?
Well, I'm looking at, it's seeming like this is a north, south, east, west, east, east, north, but it's in 3 lines. So it would combo maybe to 3 different numbers.
That's kind of what I thought, right? So I looked at the north, northeast, southwest, and since I have grid paper that I'm drawing on, when I did that, it turned into.
You got a point. You got a point.
It looks kind of like it could form a numeral, right? It looks kind of like it could, if you go up and up, east would be
I see
to the
exactly
right,
what you're saying.
and then south down, and then west would be to the left, would kind of look like a P. But then when you go to the other and you do the same thing, east, east, north, north, west, west, south, south is essentially a 0 or an O, I suppose. But then east, east, south, south, west, west, north, north sort of accomplishes the same thing. So if we're going hilariously blue right away, then we have spelled the word poo.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Or could it be 900?
No. You know Captain Sheets.
Sheets is a poop deck kind of guy, I'm guessing.
Of course. And so that would actually make sense because there's a poop deck on the boat.
Well, the captain left you a message that said poo.
Yeah.
Don't you feel good about your job?
Captain Sheets, too soon.
Right.
What a jerk.
Okay, look, that's nothing to worry about, you guess. But then that wasn't the only thing you saw wrong. What about the comms, the communication area? Now, you can tell as you approach, comms are down. And Captain Sheets must have done this on purpose so you couldn't call anyone to complain about him or to ask for help with whatever's going on. Again, this is just a mess. You look at this whole area and you don't think that you are ever going to get these turned back on. In fact, the only sign that they were ever functional is a segment of printed transcript from a conversation much earlier in the voyage. So we get another image for you.
People at home, you can see this in the show notes. But Neil, would you like to go through this transcript for people at home?
Okay, yes. So there's 7 different lines, and it's printed out with bullet points. The first one says a one-word sentence, yes, with a question mark. Then maybe a response. The second one says outbound, nothing to report are. Third one says, until next check, you're good to go. Then the fourth said, fantastic. Are you on duty then too? The fifth one says, always. Got to save you if, comma, like, comma, your doors go bad. Then 6 is right, comma, because that's all you do. And the 7th and final transmission says, to fix your issues, comma, just do the opposite of what you're doing.
And now, I don't know what you're seeing, Neil. For me, when I'm looking at those first letters, I am simply just seeing you fart.
Come on, Captain!
And so that's hard. And that's hard to hear.
So
and
wait,
actually,
we start with a poo puzzle, and then our second puzzle is you fart.
Okay, Nick.
It's a hostile work environment, isn't it?
We're two sides of the Nick. I understand you're the side of the brain that was like, I want to be a captain. The sea, our dad was in the sea, and I love that for us. And I'm like, what if we went into finance? We would make so much more money. We would make so much money. Private equity? Oh my God, we'd be monsters, but we'd be rich.
Anything would be better
and I think that's
than
something.
this crap.
Well, the last thing that's not right is the GPS. Its big electronic screen has an exclamation mark on it. And under that, you see the words, obstacle detected, collision warning, reroute, and you read it backwards. You try anagramming those words, anything else you can think of. But nothing works. You do not see a single toilet word out of obstacle detected, collision warning, which means this one is real. Oh my God, there's an emergency. There's an actual emergency. Horror clutches at your stomach. What? You have to tell the captain you can't handle this. And now you are free to go. You are free to move.
What should we do, Vic? Should we go try and find the captain at the bar?
I hate this guy. Like, I hate him. I think we let the boat sink and teach him a lesson.
Wait. No, that's minus points.
No, this is actually creative thinking, so I get 2 points. I gave myself 2 points for that, so I'm at 3 and you're at 1, technically, if we're giving numbers right now.
Wow, is this how it's going to go the whole time? Is this weird competition? This will be so fun for
No,
me.
come on, hey, no way. No way, we're having so much fun. Look at this. Do we just try the door?
We could. I mean, I want to go find the captain, right? And we know that he's apparently drinking somewhere. However, there are lots to see still in this room. So do you want to investigate the room a little bit before we try and see if we can find the captain?
Quick once around, and if there's nothing, let's at least try that door, because my fear is that the door is locked. Are we okay to check that the door isn't locked so that we would know if we're looking for a key?
Good question.
The door to the bar is a hefty sliding door on rails set into the ceiling and floor. It is locked because, of course, it is.
Mm-hmm.
A crew bar door. And what about the door we came in from?
That is more just a doorway than a door itself. So technically you'd be free to leave, but that would be worth extreme disciplinary measure.
Can we see on that sliding door, is there a lock? Is it that it's rusted or heavy? Is there something propped up against it? Do we have any idea?
Very good question. Just from what you know of the ship, it is all electronically handled. The only reason it would be locked is if the electrical controls have got it set to be locked.
Tough.
Got it. We've seen. I'm assuming that if we looked at the chart on the nautical charts workstation, does that mean we've seen everything on that workstation, or should we investigate that a little further?
You look at the charts front and back from all angles, but there is nothing remarkable except for those directions that Captain Sheets had scrawled on them.
I think your instinct is right. We should definitely take a look at everything, but there also is very specifically one labeled doors and windows. And if we are thinking we maybe want to get out, do we want to stop there first, or do we want to take a look and end there?
Oh, yeah, let's take a look and end there. We know there's windows to see. We know there's steering to check still. There's thrice over and lighting, right? So if we check the doors and the door opens and we solve that, then we're going to have to just come back and do those things, right?
Yeah.
So let's do it.
I'd also say too, because I would love to take a look out the window. I'd like to see if we can see an object or see how much time we got, how far out we are theoretically.
You're a genius. Let's go there first. We run to the windows and examine them, breathe on them, rattle them.
The windows are nearly floor to ceiling and they curve around the whole front and a bit of the sides of the room. During the day, it's a spectacular view, if a bit boring after a few hours. But at night, you see nothing except a faint layer of salt splatter from the water. Without the front lights on, it is pitch black. You can't confirm at all whether there's actually an obstacle out there or judge its dangerousness.
So we have steering, light, doors, because I guess that's it. Is theoretically, I mean, that feels like a little bit of a clue. We can't judge how dangerous it is.
There was also the GPS station.
The GPS isn't going to help us if we can't see where we're going. Let's go to the lighting thing, see if we can turn on these lights.
Love it.
Small miracles. Captain Sheets left the light on in this room before disappearing and locking all of the controls to everything. You look at the lighting control screen, and to unlock it, it needs a color passcode. It displays 6 blank circles, 3 along the top and 3 along the bottom. And if you press on them, you cycle through a variety of colors. Let's just say all the normal colors. And the controls will unlock if you pick all 6 colors correctly.
Great. Well, we could try and hack it, but I think this would be a really long podcast.
Yeah, people were excited about this 6-hour podcast.
It was just a long time of Neil just saying blue, 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 green, blue, 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 yellow.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll find something that we should put in the back of our craw, some kind of 6 or colors references. What should we go to next? What do you think, Vic?
Do we want to take a look at another station, or is it worth just doing a once around the room to make sure that everything is in order? Because we still have GPS, which we got to go back for. So, I guess we did the windows, and that's the only other thing that's listed other than that doorway that we came out of, which it's seeming like is clear.
I sort of feel like going around the stations is probably doing the once around the room, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like, only the things that I have listed will be of import. Like, I won't just tell you, do a circle around the room looking at the floor this time. Do a circle around the room looking at the roof this time. I will give you everything that you need.
Okay, so let's think logically. We have 3 steering stations, which will help us 0 because it's dark outside. We need to get lighting to see, and the GPS station, I fear, will have us dark outside as well. Do you want to just check? What is GPS? If we go to the GPS station, what do we
GPS.
see there?
So it's mostly just this big screen, a big touch screen. There's a big warning exclamation mark on it still, and it follows you around the room. You can just see it out of the corner of your eye everywhere. You can't do anything about it. There is a reroute button on the screen, but you've been locked out of making any changes. You press it and it literally doesn't respond to you. On the side of the device, you do find a small, roughly triangular indent that looks like it is supposed to be there.
Okay, so we're looking for something to maybe go in that indent, maybe some sort of a USB or something like that.
Oh, that's a fun call.
Okay. I'm wondering if we go to doors and windows, because I am wondering if before we can fix this, we need to go find the captain. Even if he's going to be drunk, he can maybe give us some kind of information.
Yeah, and then we'll have a fun little improv-y, one-on-one with him.
Get to chit chat with him, see how his day is going. I mean, we hate him, but he's our boss.
I wonder what he sounds like. I wonder if he sounds like Bill.
No, probably not. That'd be crazy.
No, we know that the captain has a very thick Southern accent, Southern United States accent. We both know that.
Well, I may be just a simple country. A simple country. Man.
I've never seen the ocean.
Well, what are you doing here on my vessel? I keep it my white suit. Well, I hear my white suit getting salty from the sea air. I think
he can't go more than 2 words without puffing on his cigar.
And I'd say that here on the wide ocean, I need a drink.
I
But
can
what about
just
the parrot
hear
on
him
his shoulder?
talking. Yeah, that parrot's got such
Me-
funny puns.
Me and
That parrot
Polly
loves
here.
ocean puns.
Okay, I'm snorting. We're really in it.
Okay, I want to hear this parrot's ocean pun, so we got to get up there.
Let's go to the door and windows control station.
Yeah, because by the time we get up, that parrot's going to have 5 ocean puns that they're going to do right in a row. I
Five
can't wait.
real good ones.
So this station basically gives you the ability to lock and unlock any doors or windows in the area. Of course, Captain Sheets has locked everything, including these controls, and you need a password to gain access to the controls yourself. You try typing in some letters, it looks like it conks out at 10, so you're definitely dealing with something that's less than 10 letters.
Okay, this is so stupid. Do we try password? We know he's an idiot and that we hate him, so I'm wondering, I mean, I would probably have to look for something. I'm sure it's a key that we're going to have to find, but I do think we got to try password.
You try, it doesn't work, but not the first time this season that something akin to that has been the solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look at the 3 steering stations.
Yeah, this is the last thing, so oh god, if this doesn't give you a password, you have to start re-looking at things. There are 3 stations around the room for steering controls. One towards the front, it's facing forward, facing north right now. One of them is curved around a bit off to the right, and it is facing outward, looking at still at the windows where the window has curved around. So the one facing right can just see out to the right. And the other one off to the left, same deal. It's just because there are some maneuvers that require multiple people and multiple points of visibility. But you get nothing from them as far as clues go.
They're steering, like proper steering wheels that we can
There's a little bit of wheel, there's some lever situations going on, there's a lot of push-pull stuff.
Do we just want to sort of shake some stuff? Just sort of do like
I think Nick should go around and just shake
loose?
things.
Lightly. We're not going to steer the ship upside down or anything. We just want to sort of like...
Yeah, just because you're underqualified specifically in this area and can't see 10 feet in front of the ship doesn't mean this will be hard. Just follow your instincts. Actually, it turns out that complex maneuvers, especially if you need to make sharp turns, is a very, very advanced thing. And there are a lot of people on board this ship. It's not a good idea to do anything risky in that way. Even minor turns when you have no idea what's in front of you, if anything, or how big it might be, or what your course is, it would be a tremendous risk. So it's probably best to hold off on steering until you have more info.
Okay. Do we want to check the door? See if we see anything on the door? Have we looked at the door? I guess we did examine the door when we sort of were looking at what type of door it was. What haven't we seen in this room?
I think you have seen everything.
The only thing that I can think is the only letters that we have so far are the you fart poo.
Now, you do try typing that in. That is 10 letters. Sadly, it is still not the correct 10 letters. I wish it were.
Well, I wonder though if like the you fart communications that we got was that
It did mention doors.
exactly
Yeah.
because it has other things that it says on it, like always got to save you if like your doors go bad, right? Because that's all you do to fix your issues. Just do the opposite of what you're doing. So, yes. Outbound, nothing to report so far. Until next check, you're good to go. Fantastic. Are you on duty then, too? Always. Got to save if you like, if your doors go
okay.
bad.
Hold on.
Tell me.
Opposite. So yes, no. So that would start with an N. Outbound, inbound.
Nice.
Until
It starts to unravel.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
But it's
such
good-
a cool idea.
It's good thinking.
it worked for the
Just do the
first two
opposite
pretty
of
well. Do the opposite of what you're doing. Talking, be so quiet for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
Don't say another
Solve
word.
no more puzzles for the rest of the show. And then the doors will unlock.
It's got to save you if like doors go bad.
To fix your issues, just do the opposite of what you're doing. Do we have any idea what puzzle we're pushing for this one? I'm assuming not the color puzzle. I'm assuming this is maybe the password.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that I can think is like
Trafuoy. No, that doesn't spell anything. Sorry.
What was that?
I was
Oh.
going the opposite of you fart.
Oh, because before you'd taken the first letters, so to do the opposite, you were doing the first letters, but like from the bottom up.
But from the bottom up. Oh, what if we took the last letters?
That's what I was looking at. S.
Doog.
G-O, God, O-R's. Go doors. Go doors.
Wait, tell me how you got that. I didn't get it.
It is literally exactly what you were saying, except going in the opposite way. So instead of going top down, we went.
Oh, that's great! That's so fun.
It's fantastic.
You nailed
what a
it.
great puzzle.
Go doors! Yay!
Go doors!
Go doors!
His favorite sports team. You type that into the door and window controls. The password is accepted. So quickly, you press the buttons to unlock all the doors and windows connected to this room, because why not?
I always put my support behind the Savannah Doors, my favorite team.
Should we go up there? Should we try and find him? Upstairs to the bar?
Can we now open the crew bar door?
You've set the door to unlock. So you go over, you pull on the door to slide it open. Actually, it still won't budge more than a wobble. But wait a second. You remember Captain Sheets telling a hilarious anecdote once about a previous apprentice. To mess with that one, Captain Sheets shut them in a break room with a small wedge blocking the door from the outside, just enough to stop it from opening. And they were trapped for hours. And when Captain Sheets came back to yell at them for not returning to duty, they tried to say someone had put a wedge on the door, but there was no wedge to be seen because, much like a classic riddle, the wedge was made of ice, fashioned in the crew bar freezer, and as the hours had passed, it had melted, so technically the apprentice could have returned to duty on time, but they didn't realize they could because they'd given up pushing on the door after the first 15 minutes. And they got onshore disciplined and a negative performance review. You bend down to look through the narrow gap under the door in front of you. Barely a finger wide, this gap. And sure enough, you can see a small ice wedge.
Go.
You can touch it, but it's jammed in too tight to push free.
You say someone locked you in this small room, do you? What, with some kind of an ice wedge? I've never heard of such a thing.
Okay, now you can't wait really hours for this ice
He's
to
not
melt.
the parrot. That's the parrot does the puns.
Oh, right, the parrot does the puns. You're right.
You'll hear them later.
That's so crazy. The voice you were doing sounded exactly like a parrot. I was assuming it was a pun. That was a parrot. That was a bird.
I'm from the South.
And that's the captain.
So yeah, there's an ice wedge jammed under this door. You can't just wait for it to melt. That'll take ages. How can you speed this up?
Well, the windows are open, right?
You can now open the windows.
What if we could open the windows at an angle that we could get the light to shine at the door and heat it up?
It is extremely nighttime, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's nighttime. That was...
Dock him a point. Vic.
Fair. Dock him a point. Point one.
I'll just give myself a point so that it's illegal. What? Can we climb out these windows?
They aren't really in a good position. Like, it's pretty sheer. There's nothing really out there to climb on. You do slide them open. They slide open smoothly. You immediately get hit with a light spray of seawater to the face, even this high. Yeah. It's hard at night because you can't even see it coming.
Do we have anything that we could collect some seawater with? Because the salt from the seawater should melt the ice, right? If we can get some of that water under there.
Brilliant idea.
You know what? You run a finger along the outer rim of the window. Some of that ocean spray has been collecting as salt on the window frame.
Scrape up what salt we can, and then how do you plan on getting it underneath?
Well, I'm wondering, can we just start packing it? If we can get enough salt there, we can sort of start packing it because we just got to melt it enough to scoot through, don't we?
Exactly. Fair. You have just enough room to push some of the salt under the door and you rub it against the wedge with your finger. And It happens a lot faster than you expected. It doesn't take much time at all for the front chunk of wedge to melt away, eliminating its leverage on the door, which now swings open for you.
Hoot, hoot.
Now that's a parrot.
That's a parrot.
The door has slid open at last, revealing a small staircase that curves around to another doorway, and through that one, you find the crew bar.
Yay!
Oh,
We did
thank
it.
God.
Little
Oh, wait,
Come
bit,
on,
for
here
more?
we go.
little bit more drawing for you. The actual bar counter and shelves behind it are at the far end opposite you. Apparently this is how I like describing things now. Go to the far end and then work your way back. In between that, there is a pool table, half a dozen round drinks tables, and 2 large couches. And lying sprawled on one of those couches is Captain Sheets.
Can we see anybody else here?
Based on the state of the place, you hope that there were other people here, but there aren't any others anymore.
Okay, well, sleeping Sheets. We should probably get to him first, right? Because we're trying to figure out how to
That is
stop.
the emergency.
Yeah.
You approach Captain Sheets's prone body. He reeks of alcohol. In fact, there's a bottle still gripped in his hand. He's breathing, but no amount of shaking or calling his name has any effect.
His cigar has fallen onto the couch. It's possibly going to start a fire.
The parrot is unconscious from contact poisoning.
Oh, really? Because I did write 5. I did write down 5 quick puns. I do have right here. I took notes that I don't think I understand, but they are here, so I can do the puns if you'd
We
like.
can save it for the post show.
All right.
We need one. At least we need one with that.
Just
with that.
one.
Okay,
A little taste.
Polly want a cracker or some bread? My tastes aren't very Pacific.
Wow.
They're being
Nice,
unspecific
nice.
about the
Ouch,
food that they
ouch.
want.
Nice.
I love that.
I'm glad
Clever.
I'm glad the parrot's asleep.
Anyway, panic rises. Panic of a sort rises in you. Look, it would have been bad enough if Captain Sheets was regular drunk and needed to go on duty, but he can't even do that. This is a disaster. You and only you can save this ship, and you do not know how.
Can we rifle through his white linen suit pockets?
Absolutely, you can.
I
You
assume
give-
so
yeah.
because he's 2 sheets to the wind. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that playtest.
Amazing.
We spent a long time trying to remember how many sheets to the wind people are. It's like, I know it's some number of
I
3
didn't.
sheets?
I had
4
never heard
sheets to
this
the
phrase
wind.
before.
What are
but
these sheets in
Really?
question?
I really hadn't.
It's very American
What
pirate.
is it?
I
I'm
think.
not seaborn
Is it
enough.
2?
It is 3
It's
sheets
2.
to the wind is the
Oh, 3
basic thing,
sheets to
I'm
the
pretty
wind.
sure.
Wow.
Is the
Didn't know that.
original, like, that person's
Maybe it's
drunk.
regionally shifted, like Jingle Bells,
But
Batman smells.
But when you Google the other numbers, there's plenty of examples of people using them with those numbers. So just some
Interesting.
number of sheets to the wind.
As
Yeah.
long as there are sheets and they are facing wind.
Windy.
But the sheets in question are ropes, apparently.
Oh,
They're
right.
the ropes that tie a sail down, not the sail itself. So when the sheets are to the wind, those ropes are just flapping in the wind because nothing's tied down.
Oh, right. That makes perfect sense.
Well, you give Captain Sheets a pat down. He is definitely not aware of it. You could be robbing him and he wouldn't know, but you wouldn't do that. And it doesn't seem like he's got his wallet on him. He doesn't have much interest on him, actually. Although you do notice he's wearing a shark tooth necklace under his uniform, which you wouldn't have expected of him. As for the bottle in his hand, boy, does he have a monster grip on it. You have to pry off each finger one at a time to pull it away. And when you do, you see it's a mostly empty bottle of a label called Southwood's Great.
Can we take off the shark tooth necklace and wear it just because we've been working really hard and we're not really
Makes you
getting
feel a
paid or
little bit cooler.
appreciated it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We'll hide
love
it
that.
under our shirt. What was the name of the bottle again?
Southwood's Great.
The parrot reads pun number 2, which is I don't know what's in that bottle, but as a sailor, I hope it's port. There
Yeah.
you go. That's the second one. Tick that one.
Sailor, I hope it's port. Okay.
Like port, because like a drink, but it's also a thing that sailors like because they get to go to
Yeah.
port. It's a sea thing.
yeah.
It's like in sea.
This was
It's
was
also
on
the side of the
YouTube.
boat.
I love that.
No, I get it now.
I love
get
that. I love
Look,
that.
it's a parrot.
Personally, I love it.
it. Look, it's a
The
parrot.
fact that it's talking is a miracle.
Right? What do you want from this bird? It doesn't understand
Comedy.
words. It's just mimicking speech.
Okay, well.
They're not all
we-
Iago from Aladdin.
do- We're not all Gilbert Gottfried parrots.
Not all Gilbert Gottfried.
So, that's what we get from Sheet's body is a shark tooth necklace. And did we take the bottle with us?
You can take the bottle, yeah.
Is it full, half full?
It's mostly empty.
Mostly empty.
Yeah.
Mostly empty. Can we inspect it? Is there anything inside that we should or could be looking at other than liquid?
Nothing else of note.
Okay. Here's my only
Can we check the other couch? Oh, no, go on.
Yeah. No, that was literally exactly what I was going to say is can we check the couch and can we check the bar?
That's a great call.
Couches first. They're big, soft, not as clean as you'd like. They see a lot during one of these voyages. And if you give them a bit of a closer dig around, which is not pleasant, nor is it super productive, all you find are several ratty pieces of thick string. You have no idea what they came from, but there's quite a lot of string.
String.
Well, we should hang on to that string, too.
Yes. Pop that in our pocket.
And then to the bar.
Can we do the pool table on the way to the bar? Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Not a problem.
Let's play some
How are you feeling
snooker.
about that?
There must definitely have been more people than just Captain Sheets at some point, because the pool table has a few balls strewn across it. There are a couple of cues leaning against it, and hanging off one corner you find a scoreboard of sorts. The table is a slightly unusual shape in that the pots are more built into the table than usual. Look, I've got an image, so we'll be able to get a good look at it.
Do we have pool balls in the pockets?
In the pockets, no.
Dang, because that's our 3 and 3.
You don't see the little white ball anywhere either, so there's, I don't know, there was something weird going on about this game.
Yes, for people at home, you can see this pool table in the show notes. But Vic, would you like to describe what this pool table, and I think attached score indicator as well?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to describe it for the people at home?
Absolutely. So what I am looking at is we have a classic pool table. You got 6 pockets, and on the top row we got A, middle pocket is B, and the far right-hand pocket is C. Bottom left is D, bottom center is E, bottom right is F. Then we have 6 different pool balls, sort of in order that I'm looking at them. We have number 6, which is green, number 3, which is red, number 2, which is blue, number 5, which is orange, 1, which is literally almost touching E is 1, and number 4 is purple. And then it says on the bottom, stalemate, nobody can get their ball into the assigned pocket in one straight line.
Yo, Vic, I noticed something right away.
Let's hear
Nothing
it.
to solve, except it's 6 different colors and 6 things, and we're looking for 6 colors and things for the something else.
Yeah. And based on what that
The lighting.
scoreboard says, yeah, they definitely weren't playing normal pool or snooker or anything like that. They had their own sort of game that they were going for.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're sort of like figuring out which ball is assigned to which letter, and that will give us our color combination.
So looking at the results, and looking at the scoreboard table that says that the results are a stalemate, nobody could get their ball into its assigned pocket, meaning each ball should be in an assigned pocket. But given this layout, none of the balls can get into their pocket in one straight line. So A, B, C, D, E, F, 1 through 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he, her, he, ha, who, he. Vic is going to have solved this entire thing by the time I've made the
I was going to say, Neil, got to tell you, barely graduated high school when it comes, and math being the primary reason. I'm looking at this, and I understand that it is probably more logic-based than math-based, but as soon as numbers get involved, my brain just sort of like glosses over.
I can't wait to take it. I just want you to know that on my grid paper, I have written this in a diagonal because that's
beautiful.
Okay.
Classic.
So I'm going to start with 6.
Yeah.
So we know that 6 can't go into D because that would be a straight line.
Yeah, that would be too easy.
So for D, I can scratch off 6 and put an X by it. 6 can't go into A for the same reason.
Straight
6
line.
can't go into E for the same reason. Straight line. And I think 6 can't go into C for the same reason. So 6 could go into B or F because there's a line blocking them. There's another ball blocking them, yeah?
Yeah.
So if we then bounce to the 3. I'm just going to go left to right. So the 3 can't be for A, can't be for 3. E can't be for 3. I hope I'm doing this right because it's going to take forever.
I think that's it.
2 can't be A, B, or C.
Yep. Or E.
Well said. Or F.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so we have our first one.
2 is D. D is assigned to 2.
That's
like
always good to
this.
get an early win.
Yep, so I can...
We can
So
cross that off for
did
3.
you do... Did you also... So making this grid maths-wise, I'm now going to scratch out 1, 3, 4, and 5 on the 2 line, just to help make things simpler.
That's smart.
Then if we're looking at numero 5, which is 5 in Australian.
Thank you.
You can't do
That was getting
B
difficult
for
for me.
5. You can't do E
I think
for
it has
5.
to be A.
You can't do C for 5. You can't do F for 5. So yes, 5 is A. This is so much fun. I could do this all day long. And I might. Which means we scratch out 4 and 1 on the A track. This is a bit like Sudoku. Then we're going to go to the number 1. 1 can't be E, C, or F.
Or D. I know E is in the way, but theoretically that pocket is flush to the wall.
Oh, these are weird pockets.
This is a special nautical pool table where the pockets are inside.
That said, you've already assigned D, so it doesn't even matter.
That's true. So it can't be E, we said, and it can't be F. So B or C. And it can't be C, right?
And it can't be C.
So B.
Great. So 1 is B, which means that 3 and 4 can go away from B. Okay.
You finish this. I'm going to start building our grid of colors here.
Great. So 4 can't be B. We know that. 4 can't be F. 4 can't be C, which leaves us with 4 being E. And then, we need to know what 3 is. 3 has to be C, given everything that we've scratched out, right, already. Which means that we only have 1 left, which is 6, which would be F. So can we transfer those to colors?
So I'm working on that right now. So I have so far center. B is 1, which is yellow. Blue is 2, is D. So that's the bottom left is blue. Purple is E, which is that center bottom. And then F is green, which is that right bottom. And then 6 we just put in. So we need 5, which is orange, which is A. Final answer before we leave here. Orange, yellow, red, blue, purple, green.
You head back down to the lighting controls and you tap through until you get those colors, and they are accepted.
Yes!
The console comes to life with options and you don't hesitate. You activate all the front-facing exterior lights. You cut through the darkness of the night, and there it is, looming, alarmingly close. At first you can't make out what the shape is, but then it hits you. That's a ship, or what's left of one. Mostly submerged, clinging to the surface with its last breath, long since abandoned. It might not even be the whole thing, it might just be the front half of a wreck. Even so, it's big, and probably strong. You know what they say, the only thing that can destroy a ship is another ship. If you can't get out of the way, things will go badly for your ship, for the poor spaghetti and meatball. But now that you can see it, that's a start.
A huge start.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And we're not interested in popping out there looking to see what we got treasure-wise.
I'll level with you. Based on a room from 2 rooms ago, it's all been looted already.
It's
it was
all been
looted by a cool
already.
kid.
Yeah, some of the other players have already gotten there.
That's a real shame. That's a real shame to hear. Okay, great. So we have all of this. We now know what we are looking at. So what do we have left? We've got steering. So we got to steer out of the way. So we got to find more people. We know there's more people on the ship, just not the captain that we can talk to.
There's no one really that you can trust or would be qualified. You need a good set of hands more than anything else, but it would be good if the person knew what they were doing, and there's no one like that on board. You did have one person on the night staff that you liked, but you haven't seen them all day or all night. You have
Do
no
we
idea where
weekend
they've
at
gone.
Bernie's the captain? Is that a reference that translates in Australia?
It
Yes.
is.
With the string?
Haven't seen it, but I get the reference.
I'm like, can we put the shark tooth in the GPS? Like in that sort of like
It's got a
indent that we
triangle
have?
shape. That's such a
That's
good
what
call.
I'm wondering.
You remove the shark tooth necklace from your neck and try to fit it in the hole. And do or do not, there is no try. It's a perfect fit. As soon as it's in,
Nice.
the GPS buttons light up and you can press that reroute on the screen.
Oh
Some
my
loading
gosh.
dots
Oh,
gosh.
appear.
For
God.
the win.
A new path appears on the screen, doing a wide loop around the obstacle in front of you. You swallow. That is a sharp series of turns. You haven't practiced this sort of maneuver yet. You don't really know how to do it without risking serious damage to the vessel. You don't even know where to begin. You need more information. You need some direct steps for this laid out in front of you. If you can get that, you are right there. You can almost save this ship.
Literally all we have left at this point is our steering, correct? But now we have light. Oh, but we had light in the room before.
There was one thing that you didn't end up looking at in the other room.
Oh, you're right. The tables
The tables and the bar
and the shelves. You're right. Let's
and
go
the
back in there.
shelves. Yeah.
Yeah, those sorts of things.
Sprinting up the stairs. We're
Where to
winded.
first?
What do you think, Nick?
Nick, I'm letting you make this call.
Let's go to let's check out the tables. There's
Yeah.
half a dozen tables.
As you re-enter the bar, the parrot gets to pun number 3, which and as you approach, the parrot says, "What's the difference between a humpback and a big bundle of fake hair?
What's that, parrot?
What is it?
One's a big whale, the other's a wig bale."
A wig bale?
I'll just tick that one off. That's number 3. That's done.
I like it.
I like that the parrot didn't go for. There were so many easy jokes. Don't be shellfish. I'm having a good tide. Like there's so many things that they could have taken.
Wow.
And I like that the parrot really sort of wanted their own spin on this, and I do
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And I will say, for people wondering, I haven't been working on these the whole time. They got written down and cast aside.
I can confirm that. Some of these drinks tables have bottles on them. Bottles mostly empty. You really hope it wasn't just Captain Sheets drinking from them, or he may never wake up. Whoever was drinking had a couple of favourite labels, though. One of them is a bottle of Eastman's Standard. Another is a bottle of Eastman's Bargain. And then there is also a bottle of Southwood's Finest.
Okay, so we got East, East, South. It's ES, EB, SF, but that's East, East, South, and then we also got Southwood's.
We have
Great.
Southwood's Great and Southwood's Finest, and we have Eastman Standard and Eastman Bargain. Double Southwoods and double Eastman. Great, Standard, Bargain, Finest.
Do we see any additional bottles on any of the tables?
No, that's it as far as stuff that's around the room.
And that is including the shelving?
Well, if you actually go to the bar, there's a little bit more going on. So behind it, there are several closed glass cabinets full of bottles and glasses. Each of those cabinets follows the same arrangement. It goes expensive, fancy products on the left, and then it gradually goes down in quality until you've got off-brand discount stuff on the right. One of these glass cabinets stands out because through its glass door, you can see gaps where bottles, 4 bottles perhaps, have been taken out.
Tell me more.
And in their places are 4 pieces of paper. You can't tell if anything is written on them from here, they're folded up. And the cabinet door to this one, sadly, is locked with a 4-letter combination lock.
No. Okay, Southwood's Great, so we got Great with one of them. We have Standard, we have Bargain.
Eastman Standard, Eastman Bargain, and Southwood's Finest.
So I think it would go Finest, Great, Standard, Bargain.
Yeah, that would be left to right from expensive to cheap, which means that we would go south, south, east, east. if we were going left to right. I mean, you don't want to go SSEE as the 4-letter combo, right?
That is true. That doesn't work. Very
That
fair.
doesn't work.
Right. Of course. But can we put them in?
GPS coordinates, maybe?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it functions that way. The GPS
Not
is
yet.
it's organized its own route for you. You don't need to plug in stuff.
Can we look at these pieces of paper to see what we have to order them with?
Okay, no, they are just sort of folded over. There might be something important written on them. Who knows? You can't tell from here. It looks like something that you want to get to rather than something that is going to help you get in.
Oh, I see. Okay, so those are locked behind this glass.
Correct.
Yes, and behind
I
this
understand.
4-letter lock.
South, east.
Do you want another pun? Take your mind off it?
Absolutely.
The parrot turns and he says, the captain always loves my singing. He's a big fan of the high seas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
And that one actually, I think, was maybe the best one yet.
The last one I just wrote down, sailor, I hardly knew her.
You brought her, you sailor. Nice.
It should have been a sailor, I think. Because that's actually a
that's
verb.
pretty nice. A sailor, I hardly knew her. Well, that's not what the parrot wrote, so don't know what to tell you.
Could we put like great finest standard bargain into the 4-letter combo? I'm stuck on this 4 and 4 situation. Like, could we go
GFSB.
GFSB?
It doesn't work, and you get your good escape room instincts on that you're probably going to get a word out of this rather than random letters.
What was the order one more time? It's SSEE is the order?
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
you ended up with.
Because I'm wondering, like, does this pair onto a graph somewhere where we can go, like, south, and there's 2 letters, and east, and there's 2 letters, but we don't have anything else that we're looking at right now. Are we looking for anything additional, or do we have all the information we need?
You have everything.
You have everything, but it isn't the worst idea to think about other stuff.
Yeah,
in
to
the-
think
in the space.
what could it link to, theoretically.
I'm stymied.
Is this a thing where it's, like, C's, where it's, like, we just spell it a different way? But it's, like, but it's not in the correct order that we're looking for.
No.
Something else to look at. The map with the north, northeast, southwest stuff.
Oh, you mean your poo map?
Yeah.
But we tried drawing it, and it just came into an L. Didn't it?
South, east.
That sounds
Yeah,
like
it
an
draws
L.
like an L.
That's 1 letter, and we need 4 letters.
Pool. The POO
Pool?
from poo plus the L. Loop.
Shut up! Is that it? Is it pool? Is it loop?
The cabinet clicks open.
Yes!
Captain Sheets' favorite pastime.
Neil, you got 3 points. Congratulations.
Eagerly, you open the cabinet, you seize those papers, and your heart soars as you read the first one. It's a detailed set of instructions cut from a manual explaining difficult steering maneuvers in open sea emergencies. This is amazing. It's exactly what you need. All it needs is to be able to clearly see the obstacle. Check. Also, you need to be able to use the forward-facing steering station and one of the side-facing stations simultaneously.
Oh, we have string.
We got string. We're gonna
do
tie
have
those
string.
puppies. We're gonna Pinocchio.
Okay, we have that check.
Can we
What's third?
roll Captain Sheets down the stairs and tie
Yeah.
him to a column?
You want a weekend in Bernie's sheets so bad.
You can weekend at Bernie's
So
sheets.
bad.
Look,
So I'm assuming
you
we're
had
gonna
to,
use the string to tie these things, and then we can sort of like tie them to our hands, and I guess put one of them in our mouth.
yeah, you head down and you start trying to tie the strings to the controls, but you do quickly realize it's not going to work. String, like, you can tighten it, but it doesn't get a good pull-push ability. Like, you can pull and then you couldn't do any other things. It really does look like it wants a grip of a hand on it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we got to roll him down the stairs. We got to tie his hands there.
100%.
He's a sturdy
Tie his
man.
hands to the thing. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you're going
I
to
feel good
marionette
about
this guy. You've got plenty of
Yeah.
string. Is there anything else that could maybe help out? Like, what else do you typically need to marionette a human, as you have done many
We could
times?
use pool cues.
There were a couple of pool cues.
Yeah.
Look,
That would be helpful.
this is wild, but it just might work. You grab the pool cues, you grab the string, you grab the captain, and you get tying. Captain Sheets barely lets out a gurgle the entire time, and pretty soon you have a supremely creepy marionette. So
Yeah.
you hoist him up, you grab the pool cues to test him out. Look, it's not the finest motor control, but he has very grabby hands. You can absolutely move them back and forth and side to side from a distance.
He's an HR nightmare. He's a sticky man.
Yeah.
Sticky, grabby.
Yeah,
Does
from
he have
now
any-
on, you're going to call him Captain Grabby Hands, and he's going to get a lot of bad looks.
Yeah.
Nice. Does he have any earrings?
He does not. That's why you were so surprised to find the shark necklace.
Because you know how much it costs for a pirate to get his ears pierced, right?
How much?
Fellas.
A buccaneer.
Sensational.
We'll make a
Should
parrot
have
of you
done
yet.
that in my parrot
Sensational.
voice. Okay.
Yeah. No, not
Are you
a
ready?
parrot can learn.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited.
You haul Captain Sheets down the stairs. You flop him down on the chair at the right-facing steering station. You put his hands on the controls, curling his fingers so that when you pull on his strings, they'll go in the direction you need them to. And then you man the front station yourself. It's hard to overstate how difficult this is. They don't even let people with your experience pull out of port. Quick direction changes at speed are no joke. And your first time doing this is under these conditions? Look, it's not a joke, but oh, do you wish it were? The next few minutes are a blur. You remember your eyes flickering back and forth between the instructions, the GPS, the shipwreck, the captain. You remember swiveling your chair to make sure he hasn't keeled over. You remember keeping one hand on a control while the other holds your pool cue outstretched. And then the angry exclamation mark on the GPS disappears. There is near total silence. Just you, sitting drenched in sweat, muscles sore from clenching everything. It's done. You've saved the ship. And somewhere in the back of your head, you know you'll never, ever get any credit for doing this. It's just the burden of living the life of the sea. And you have finished
That's
the room.
Yay!
Congratulations.
And we quit and we moved to New York and we go into finance. I love this.
Brilliant.
This
Did it,
was
you
so
guys.
fun.